Hello friends, welcome you all to another video, and today we are going to continue with the paper number 5, unit number 1, literary terms. And today we are going to deal with the last topic of this unit number 1, that is the aestheticism. Aestheticism. So you can see I have opened the Wikipedia, and here you can read what uh, is written on about the aesthetic movement or aestheticism. So you can read it and also listen to me. In his Latin treatise entitled Aesthetica, this book published in 1715, and the writer of this book, the German philosopher Alexander Baumgarten, he applied in his book this term aestheticism, the term aesthetica, to the arts, of which the aesthetic end is the perfection of sensuous cognition. As such, this is beauty. In present uses, aesthetic from the Greek, pertaining to sense perception, designates the systematic study of all the fine arts as well as of the nature of beauty in any object, whether natural or artificial. Aestheticism, or alternatively, the aesthetic movement, was a European phenomenon during the latter part of the 19th century that had its chief headquarters in France. In opposition to the dominance of scientific thinking and in defiance of the widespread indifference or hostility of the middle class society of the time to any art that was not useful or did not teach moral values. French writers developed the view that a work of art is the supreme value among human products precisely because it is self sufficient and has no use or moral aim outside its own being. The end of a work of art is simply to exist in its formal perfection, that is, to be beautiful and to be contemplated as an end in itself. A rallying cry of aestheticism became the phrase art for art's sake. The historical roots of aestheticism are in the views proposed by the German philosopher Immanuel Kant in his Critique of Judgment, which was published in 1719, that the pure aesthetic experience consists of a disinterested contemplation of an object that pleases for its own sake, without reference to reality or to the external ends of utility or morality. As a self conscious movement, however, French aestheticism is often said to date from Théophile Cauter's witty defense of his assertion that art is useless. Aestheticism was developed by Baudelaire, who was greatly influenced by Edgar Allan Poe's claim that the supreme work is a poem written solely for the poem's sake. It was later taken up by Flaubert, Mallarmé, and many other writers. In its extreme form, the aesthetic doctrine of art for art's sake weaved into the moral and quasi-religious doctrine of life for art's sake, or of life conducted as a work of art, with the artist represented as a priest who renounces the practical concerns of worldly existence in the service of what Flaubert and others called the religion of beauty. The views of French aestheticism were introduced into Victorian England by Walter Pater, with his emphasis on his high artifice and stylistic separately, his recommendation to crowd one's life with exquisite sensation, and his advocacy of supreme value of beauty and of the love of art for its own sake. The artistic and moral views of aestheticism were also expressed by Algernon Charles Swinburne and by English writers of the 1819 such as Oscar Wilde, Arthur Symons, and Lionel Johnson. as well as by the artists J.M. Wistel and Aubrey Beardsley. The influence of ideas traced in aestheticism, especially the concept of a poem or a novel as an end in itself or as invested with intrinsic values, has been important in the writings of prominent 20th century authors such as W.B. Yeats, T. E. Hulme, and T.S. Eliot, as well as in literary theory of the new critics. So, guys, I hope that you have understood the aestheticism. So, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.